So yesterday was interesting. La- this year at last, there's been three times where Camarillo sheriffs have swarmed us with six or more cops on private property with no calls for service, no warrants, and no probable cause, and arrested me, tossed up the truck against consent, and when I wasn't even in it twice, and just uh, entered the car and destroyed it. Twice they said they found something. They didn't. They planted it. These are some really corrupt fucking sickos. Uh, so the first one was at Target in Camarillo. The second one, and the third one was at Target just recently. The second one was over at Ralph's by the laundromat behind Ralph's, and we were sitting there. We go there all the time. This was when she was still blind, and so bright light would hurt her eyes. So every time we stopped anywhere, we had to cover up because she was blind. Well, this one time, all of a sudden, she got her door cracked like that because the window doesn't work and we need some air ventilation when we're stopped. It gets hot. A cop just opened it up and stood right in there, would not get out of the way, would not let us close it. Then he looks in um, on the dash right there. She had taken one of these little plastic tubular spray bottles that you could buy in the 99-cent store or whatever for $1 for its alcohol for cleaning glasses. So the dude, without any kind of anything, just reaches in, starts grabbing shit out of the car, says, "Oh, there's a pipe." And then it turns out it wasn't, but that didn't stop them. Then they just start grabbing shit. Now, I'm sorry, but aren't we still in a fucking America? They immediately arrested me, put me in another car. She was still blind. They took her out of the car. They set her on the curb and left her there. Even after they left, not telling her where the car was, nothing. So they had ransacked the car and they say they found something. They didn't. The whole thing is illegal. There's no such thing as really a warrantless search. The only time there's a warrantless search is if you're already being held or whatever on suspicion of something real, and they do that right then, but they have to do it in your presence, and they can only go for what they're looking for, and it has to relate to the suspicion. So this happened on October 1st of 2023. Now, yesterday, they decided to file this case 10 months later. I'm not sure really how that fucking works because you do have a right to a speedy trial after an arrest. Or it says after arraignment, but they can just put people on hold forever. So they filed it yesterday, and then within like the hour, they issued an arrest warrant for failure to appear. But I had no notification, obviously. How would you? And so I was standing out in another place, flying sign, and they arrested me. Then the vibe was, well, if you would have just showed up in your court, hey, motherfuckers, I knew they were going to try to do this. So they take me to jail. It's supposed to be a cite and release. This was like at 8 o'clock at night. They didn't. They kept me all until 7 something the next morning, this morning. And I had to hustle a ride down to Camarillo. It's like 8 miles away. So I get here, and we're, this, the stress is too much for both of us. It starts an argument between me and Trace, and we're arguing. And here comes, now, mind you, one of the cops that was in the original arrest, some little knack fuck, he was the dude that arrested me last night, saying he recognized me from the arrest. What? Uh, so we were arguing this morning, and then this guy shows up again. I have a hard time believing in fucking coincidences. Well, he tells me if I don't listen to their bullshit, that I'm going to be arrested for resisting arrest. And I go, resisting arrest on what charge? He goes, well, I also know that you have a suspended license and your expired registration. My registration just expired a few days ago. There was a big hullabaloo about this new law that they signed, and it's in effect, that they can't stop people in the first 60 days after their registration expires, because then it gives them a chance to fix it and all this. So he acted like that doesn't exist. And there was a previous deal this year where they took my license for no reason. It wasn't suspended, nothing. And they just swiped it. Now, the DMV wants $91 for me to get a new license. Fuck that shit. I'm fucking homeless and got no money. I'm not spending 91 bucks on something a cop fucking stole. The whole thing stinks. And I know they falsified records in my court files and all this shit, because I have the corresponding court files that show no issued judgment by a judge saying that my license was suspended. This was just, and then it got re-suspended and then fixed magically for no reason. So they're making mistakes. But yeah, I'm already going to court on these other 2 charges. Same deal. And I told them, I'm not taking a deal. I'm fighting these motherfuckers all the way. Because here's the tactic. They want to go up. They look at people in broad daylight because these stupid motherfuckers don't know anything. And they go, your eyes are pinned. I said, well, your eyes are pinned. They go, well, that usually indicates you're on meth. I go, well, in my experience, that usually indicates you're on cock. Well, so they want to do this pseudo quackery, and they're not medical professionals. They're not even legal professionals. They're fucking stupid. Then they say if you argue with them or anything, show any, or you're resisting arrest, and there's either going to be under the influence charge and or possession, of which they never come up with any of the fucking evidence in court. And this isn't just me they're doing it to. There's dozens of people that I've talked to, very same scenario. Now, the fact of the matter is, most people are weak-ass sheep fucking bootlickers that they don't fight for their own benefit, and they just keep taking a deal or a deal or a deal. And they're trying to develop this profile that the media and everybody can use and exploit, that they are these habitual pattern drug addict crazies. Well, And so that's what the whole deal is. They've developed some little strategy and nobody argues about it. And so this, just by virtue of not saying anything against it, it becomes accepted as some sort of pseudo fact. And the fact of the matter is, the function of a pupil in an eyeball is to dilate down when you have bright sunlight so that you don't burn your retina by getting too much sun in. At nighttime, it expands. So recently on July 12th or 10th, some woman cop came up. She says, I go, what do you want? And she goes, oh, I thought you were overdosing, slumped over your steering wheel. I was standing with the door open, had my feet on the outside ground. I was digging in my door for ointment to put on my foot. But her assertion that I was slumped over, overdosing, would indicate that she thinks that I'm doing fentanyl, which I don't. And then she says, but your eyes are pinned. Now that would indicate that she thinks I'm doing methamphetamine. So which the fuck is it? They just want to be able to throw these pseudo words in and harass people. Then she said, your eyes are pinned. And then you're under the influence. And once again, oh, magically. Then they went to arrest me. I go, no, you're not fucking arresting me for this bullshit again. So they knocked my feet out, but I grabbed on the bumper of my truck. These weak fucking, they got these phony muscles. Like they get in a gym, but they're not strong. They're not strong people. They're not strong-minded, and they're not strong-bodied. None of them could get me to let go of the fucking bumper. They're trying to pry up my fingers. And, I'm an old motherfucker, but I've been working all my life. My muscles know how to do a repetitive, strenuous action. When gym people say, oh, I get on the Stairmaster. You do? Well, I just climb 67,000 stairs a day. I don't need a fucking Stairmaster. Now what? So that's the whole trip there. And it's repeated, and they have me and her confused with some weak-willed, weak-minded fucking no voice, and that's insanity on their part. They should put in their little memo, hey, these two people there, if you're gonna come up with concoct some fucking bullshit about them, you better have your facts straight, and you better just accept you're gonna get a verbal ass whipping, because I never let them get away with it. This is bullshit. And it only is to homeless people. Whatever happened to the thing about, oh, my kid was bullied in school because he's a fat little fucking, people called him fatso. Well, hey, how about stop stuffing food in his motherfucking face? But if bullying is bad for your little brat, how come it's all right for us, middle-aged to elderly, white, poor people, anything. You could do anything. You could kill them, hurt them, slander them, fucking arrest them, kidnap them, push them out of the way, assault them. And it's all because they need a villain of the week to fund this fucking industry of rehabilitation or mental treatment. Nobody needs no mental treatment, motherfucker. What they need is some goddamn money. Where did America get this shit confused that not having dollars means you're somehow fucking crazy? I think that's crazy. Because dollars, it hasn't been on the gold standard. It's just some abstract, surreal fucking notion of value. It doesn't even have, and it fluctuates according to, who knows? And it's basically a Jew-run thing by the feds, so fuck it. We have turned into a country of anti-American ideals. Russia and China have never been more oppressive and right smashing than we have. And the whole point about it is there's nobody ever picking on America. We have been running this fucking military industrial complex over the whole earth. And when we go in and we do some fucking fucked up shit in another country, cause revolt, political upheaval, then we go in afterwards and we're going to clean it up and be the peacekeepers, and we fucking kill a bunch of motherfuckers, and then we pat ourselves on the back. Oh, look what a great job we did. Oh, yeah, sure, the place looks great. There's nobody there because you killed them all, you fucking assholes. I know this because I used to have a top secret clearance and I was part of it. But you get this message that you're supposed to do this in order to be a good American. And the truth is, good Americans don't try to harm and kill other people because that's not a good thing. So all this drama about 9/11, nobody's attacking. Nobody's doing anything here. There's not domestic terrorism. There isn't even regular terrorism. It's only deliberately constructed events that happen due to fucking rigid, scripted role-playing activity that the government sets up in order to divert your attention to that. And that way, you are not looking at this other thing that they are doing that is fucking, there's no way to cover up how wrong it is. You know, and this all seems to be accepted. That puke of a fucking governor we have, Gavin Newsom, not only can he not account for the $27.6 billion that he's supposed to have been given to combat homelessness, of which there's been no effect. It's gotten worse, and they can't account for the money. That's like having an elephant hide in a straw forest and you can't see him. He's in a bamboo clutch and you can't see that elephant. Really? And what a lot of people in the 20s, yeah, it's a lot of money, almost 28 billion. And the 100 billion that California was up in the coffers when he took office. So from my perspective, he has spent over $128 billion. Nobody could see where it's gone. There's been this huge transfer of wealth, and him and his fucking cronies and every other hick town politician all the way up to the mayors of the big cities, they all just keep their mouths shut about it because they go up to SAC with their hand out and they take their little dole of allowances. Everybody's in. It's a feeding frenzy, and nobody gives a fuck about the long-term effect because everybody thinks, well, I guess the world's going to end, so I better get mine now. Well, it's ending because of shit like that. And the way that they keep it from regular people being able to get together and form a fucking collective to bring attention to this is they just demolish. They're trying to take away all the guns. They're persecuting homeless people. They're letting border people come across. They're just spending and it's the Democratic, liberal, progressive, woke party. As they're running through, they're lighting matches and lighting little fires. And so spend your time consumed with putting out these little fires, and you can't ever manage to get in front of them and stop that motherfucker. Because they don't care. And they could care less if everything burns down. As long as they just create destruction and distortion. What a grand country. I can only hope that Trump gets in there and declares the Democratic National Party as a terrorist organization and outlaws it. And pretty much I hope he is vindictive and puts all these fucking woke liberal cocksuckers in prison or kills them, because I hate them all. I'm not even very fond of the conservatives, but there's bad and worse. So yeah, that was my day yesterday. And so they're trying. Oh, and here's the kicker: they put this warrant out less than an hour after they did the filing, and that was their ostensible excuse for arresting me. But then they set the arraignment date for October 3rd, 2024, which is more than a year later. And that's a couple of months away from now. So they're not really in a hurry, but they sure were in a fucking hurry to put me in jail. I'm tired of it. If I can't get legal resolution on this, I will start a fucking war in this state. An armed militia war. There'll be blood spilled, people will die, and it's because no one is willing to stand up and do the right thing and take this fucking state back from these communist fucking Chinese spies. I'm sick of everybody's feelings. I don't give a fuck about transgender rights. Fuck all them pieces of shit. Same thing, but this thing about making kids hate other races and then question their own sexuality, that alone deserves the vilification of all of them. We need a scorched earth policy, scrape the mat clean, and let's get back to what it was.